Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. This was not originally on my calendar, but I realized the second one comes out very soon, and so I was like, I might as well watch the first one. That's kind of how we got to where we are right now. And so I found it and I watched it. So today we're going to be talking about Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe was released in 2016. It was written by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayaguez, I think it's pronounced, and directed by Fede Alvarez. And first of all, no spoilers, of course, but this movie kind of seemed fine. I watched the trailer for it at first, and I was like, okay, it seems pretty good. And there's a lot of really good stuff going on in the film, but there's a couple things that kind of bother me about it. I'm going to talk about the good stuff first, and I think the acting is very well done. I think the performances and the actors they chose were fantastic. We had Stephen Lang as the blind man. I've never seen him before, I'm pretty sure. He is pretty darn good. I was pretty happy with him as the blind man. I'm really happy he's coming back for the second one. He did a very, very, very good job here. He just had this really good idea of what it was like to be blind. It was really, 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 really instinctive, really great. I did like how they chose to let him sniff around for people, or even tilt his head in the direction of his ears so he could hear things better. I thought it was really cool and really well done. So props to him. And we have Jane Levy as Rocky. She's fine. I didn't really have any problems with her. Not that I think she was fantastic, but she's just kind of okay. I feel like maybe there could have been somebody better for that, but I feel like this also might have been a low-budget film. And I don't know, I think she was just fine. And we have Dylan Minnette as Alex. I was really excited to visit him again. I really do enjoy his acting. He's fantastic in both drama and comedy roles. So I was very, very happy to see him again in a film. I think he's one of our better young adult actors we've had in the past 10 years. So I appreciate his work in this as well. And overall, it is an ensemble cast for the most part, with Stephen Lang leading the cast a little bit. But for the most part, it does feel like a good, solid, ensemble. So I appreciated that a lot. And I think it worked pretty well. I think beyond the acting, there are some really interesting plot points I think work really well for me. Again, no spoilers, but I like how we have the blind man in the house. I think that worked really, really well. But there were some interesting things that, directing-wise, that kind of made me a little confused. And I am going to talk about another movie in relation to this one, because it's kind of similar, and the movie's called Hush, and I watched that last October. Review is on my channel if you want to check that out. It is I believe it's available on Netflix as well, like the actual movie. Very good film. I loved Hush. Had so much fun with it, and that is similar, except for instead of the person being blind, the person that is being robbed is deaf. So it plays with similar tropes, and this one did feel a little bit more tropey. It felt very much like we knew it was going to happen. We understood that he was blind, but we didn't see anything from his point of view. What I liked about Hush was that a lot of it was filmed without sound, because that's how it would work. And I realized that this is difficult because you don't want to film a movie without film. But I think it'd be really cool if we could see what he kind of sees through, like you know how we watch Daredevil, right? The movie or the TV show, and they kind of see what he hears. If they could have played with that a little bit, that'd been really interesting, I think, for me, because a lot of times I kind of forgot that he was blind, which I realize is kind of the problem because that's the main part of the movie, but still, you get it. And now that I think it was not well done, I think it was fine. I do think that the idea of him being blind worked. I didn't have any issue with it, but I think it could have been done better, and that's probably what I would have done. I probably would have added at least a couple sequences where you kind of see how he sees, through vibrations or through smelling or through hearing, how he can kind of visualize where things are, because you can clearly see that he knows where things are. I mean, it's very obvious in this movie. In the trailer for the second one, it barely even looks like he's blind. So I'm excited to see how that works, and I'm not anticipating it being very good, if I'm being completely honest with you, but I suppose we shall see. Another good thing about Don't Breathe, in my opinion, is the humanity in it. And I liked how there was no good guy, right? Because the idea is it's these kids that don't really want to rob people, but they need to for money because they're broke and they want to get out of this deadbeat town, which I appreciate and relate to. And so they feel they have to steal from this guy who is a war veteran whose daughter was killed, and he got a lot of money from a settlement so that he didn't get sued or whatever. And so I like the idea of the kids trying to rob the place. I think it works. I think it works thematically, and I think it works tonally as well. But what I found more interesting was that the blind man, we assume, is this, saint. His daughter is dead, and he is a veteran, so we already feel bad for him until we realize that maybe there's something wrong with him as well. Maybe there's something hidden there. And by the end of the film, you realize that, none of them are good people. And throughout the whole film, I feel like I wasn't rooting for anybody. Like, whether the blind man wins or the kids win, I don't really care, I think. I found myself noticing, which is an interesting way to film a movie. I'm not saying it was good. I didn't really particularly enjoy not liking any of the characters, but I did find it interesting, at very least, because I haven't seen a whole lot of movies where, I hate all the characters and I want them all to die, but this is one of them, and I was like, interesting. And, of course, we feel a little bit more for the kids, because I relate to the kids, I am younger, and I also relate to the feeling of being stuck in a deadbeat town. So I appreciate those things, and that's probably why I kind of like them better. But to somebody who didn't grow up in this situation, I feel like they might even be rooting for the blind guy here. And that's fair. You're allowed to. But I don't know. I feel like it was interesting for sure. I don't know if it was necessarily a smart way to go, but it was definitely interesting. Another thing about the movie, there's a lot more semen in the movie than I thought there was going to be, considering I thought there was going to be none. I was very disturbed with this scene where there is semen involved. I'm not going to describe it or talk about it at all, mainly because it's gross and also spoilers. But I just want to point out that the scene was awesome and absolutely disgusting. I was not hungry for 3 hours after that. I was it was lunchtime when I was watching this. I was like, nope, not eating for the next while. That was nasty. That was incredible. A bold move for a movie as well. I believe it was rated R, but maybe it was rated PG-13. But regardless, I was impressed. Good for you for putting that in a nationwide motion picture. I was like, whoa. I was like, no way they're gonna do that, and then they did, and I was like, oh my god. Fantastic. I don't know what to think about the second one. I don't think it's going to live up to quite these standards. And not that I think this movie is particularly great. I think it's fine. But I don't think it's going to be as good as this. I think it's going to be pretty meh. Just based on the trailer and based on this movie and how they're going to get from this movie to that movie, I don't really know. I'm interested to find out. But for the most part, I guess I don't really care. Which is kind of the problem with not liking any of the characters. But we'll see how it goes. But overall, not a bad movie, not a great movie. It's worth a watch, I think, at least once. I think the acting's really, really good. I think a lot of the tones and the themes work very well together, which is something you don't really get in a lot of films. And for a modern horror movie, it was okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and give Don't Breathe a B+. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about the film. I do like talking to people in the comments, so if you liked the movie, let me know. If you didn't like the movie, let me know. What would you have given the film? I want to know. Are you excited for the second one? Are you going to go see it? I want to know all these things, so let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you consider subscribing. It's a huge, huge help. Every subscriber I get, I go, I'm making a little yay! So definitely consider doing that. Drop in the comments below if you have any requests for me to watch. I'm going to start planning next year, so I need requests if you guys are willing to give them to me. But that's going to do it for me today, and as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.